Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Health and Wellness. We're here at Greer's Health and Wellness, located at 3490 Lexington Avenue North in Suite 230. We're in a professional office building in Shoreview, a suburb of St. Paul. Our phone number is 651-486-0525. Our website is greershealth.com or greerswellness.com. We're here tonight, and this is the third of a series of 5. In last week's program, the last 2 programs that we covered, we talked about the Miracle 2 products, and we talked about all the benefits, how to use it. The second program, we ended up covering all the digestive enzymes, the pure lean, the proteins, hemp parts, also the vitamin C, MSM, and calcium, and also the red desert clay. In today's program, we're going to cover this part of the center. The whole idea with these programs is to better educate you so that when you do come in the center, you know exactly where everything is, and also what it is that you need in order to better assist in whatever condition or concerns that you're working with. And my name is Nellie Greer, and I will be your host tonight. One of the things that I didn't cover in last week's program was the it was the Himalayan salt, because we fell short on time. So we're going to cover, and we did a program some time ago on the Himalayan salt, and we covered all the benefits and all the uses as to how to work with the salt. And the Himalayan salt, we have it in all different sizes, meaning that we have the coarse salt, we have the granulated salt, we also have the bath salts, and we have the rocks, the rock salt. Anyway, they all have a purpose. The fine granulated salt is usually used for cooking, for using on our food, and it's already grinded for you, so it's easily used and measured. The rock salt is actually used, where do I have the rock salt? The rock salt looks like this. It's really, the rocks are much bigger, and how we use this salt is we end up taking one rock or 2, and what we do is we put it in a little jar, and we fill the jar with water up to halfway. The idea with that is that we allow it to sit like for 24 hours, and within that time, the next day, what we do is we take a teaspoon of that and we put it in a glass of water, and we drink it first thing in the morning. The idea with that is, it has been said that the yogis, before they do their workouts or their yoga session, what they do is they take that, they do not have breakfast. All they do is they take a teaspoon of that, put it in water, mix it, and they drink it. And that tends to purify. It helps them to cleanse. So as they're going through their practice, what they do is they sweat. And normally the practice is done in a very heated room. So it helps them to sweat all the impurities out of the body. And it's almost like doing a sauna effect. However, for us, we don't want to do it that way, or we don't want to start at that level right away. So the idea is that if and when you want to do that, then it would be, people that are edema, that are working with edema, or that are on high blood pressure medication, or they're advised not to do a lot of salt, or they're on some medication or a diuretic, you don't want to do that. That's one portion of the cleansing that you don't want to do. That is a typical cleansing that's done, and a lot of folks do that. Runners do it, and people that do the practice yoga, they do it. And also just anybody that wants to just do a cleanse is able to do that. So I would advise that that's one practice that not everybody should do. And also, if you have a tendency to hold water or retain water very easily, that's not a method that you want to do. Now, the rock salt the rock will never dissolve all the way. It dissolves just to about a 10%. And so as you use the water, then when you refill it again, the rock will dissolve again, but it'll stop. It will not continue to salt the water to so much of an extreme that you can't tolerate. The idea is too that you can do that and put it in cooking too. You can do that also. And so that's a method of doing the rock salt. The coarse salt is also used in shakers, a grinder. You can put the coarse salt in a grinder and you can have fresh, salt if you want that. And also we have the bath salt. Now the idea with the Himalayan salt, it is very high in ionic minerals. So the idea is that it's very cleansing. It mineralizes. It gets rid of bacteria, viruses. It's good to brush your teeth with it. It's good to take a bath with it. We do have the bath salts. And there are treatments that you can do with it too. You actually can do salt in a in a Tupperware of some kind, and you can put like your t-shirt in it, or maybe some socks. If you have like a skin disorder, you can put the t-shirt in there, have it so it soaks in good, wring it, put it on. And it is said that if you put socks or a pair of pants and you put your shirt on and you put your robe on and you go to bed and you cover yourself, you tend to create a sauna effect, and you tend to purify and help to maybe rid of a lot of things that are surfaced on the skin. It'll actually purify and clean the skin, and that's a way of doing like a sauna effect to cleanse the body with the salt. Salt is very ionic in minerals. It, back in the day, people used the salt to sort of preserve meats and fish. I know back home in New York, we used to go to the market and we used to get the fish. The codfish was just soaked in this salt, and we used to bring it home, and my mom used to put it in water and just soak it so that so she would get rid of all the salt that was there, and then she would make a salad out of it with some avocados and onions and garlic and stuff. And but anyway, short of is that salt you can preserve. It actually kills bacteria, but it also kills parasites. And salt, it has been said that in implementing and taking it a little bit each day, for anyone that's doing medication, it's good to implement the salt small amounts, a little bit at a time, as opposed to doing a lot, because in the beginning you have to adjust to it. The idea is that when you have high blood pressure, the fact is that a lot of the products that you have been eating either has been processed food, canned goods, things that have had synthetic salt in it. It's kind of like the salt that we remember back in the days in the 60s, 50s. It's a salt that everybody remembers. I don't want to say the name. But however, that is synthetic salt that really didn't have any minerals to it. And so that is the salt that's used. It's cheaper salt, so it's used in canning and all that. However, when you start implementing better salt, you end up realizing what it does and what the cleansing effect happens and how your thyroid is fed, because actually salt really feeds the thyroid. And when you don't eat good salt, that is the reason why people have gained so much weight over the years, is because they keep telling us not to do certain things, and we're realizing that those were the things that we need to bring back. And the more we bring back the very things that we haven't been doing, we start to normalize and we start to understand exactly the importance of all that. You know, people in the farm didn't, they ate normal, they ate of the land, they grew, you know, they grew their garden, they hunt for their meat, and so that is the way it's supposed to be. If you want something, you would bake it, you would cook it on the stove, and that's the way we need to go back to eating. Also, the way of detoxifying, you can put the salt in water, and you can do a super bath with the Miracle 2 products, and in helping to cleanse the skin. Also, there is another method of, there's this sachet pack that actually it's, if you remember, we used to have these bean bags that you would put in the microwave, and people would actually put them on around their neck, or maybe put them on their stomach or legs or whatever. This is made out of the salt, and by heating this up in the microwave and then putting it on an area that you have pain, or maybe arthritis, or maybe just not feeling good in the stomach, or maybe cold or whatever, you would put it in the microwave, and then you would put it on wherever the pain is, and you would put like a towel maybe, and then you would put it on, and it can be heated up many times, and but this is actually something that's really good. You can put it on like if you have a headache. What it said is that it absorbs all the very acidicness or the pain, inflammation that is wherever in the body. It can be put on the back, can be put on the shoulder or arm, stomach, legs, knees, feet. Any area that you want healing to happen, that is one good way of doing it. Also, salt, it has been done in a neti pot, where people do the nasal cleanse. And you know, one of the things I have said before now, when you do the neti pot, you have to be careful, because when you use the salt in a neti pot, it overdries your nose, the membrane, and so you'll end up with dry nose, and what happens is you'll start to bleed. So the more and more you start to cleanse, the more that happens. So I would suggest not to do salt on the neti pot, and do the Miracle 2 neutralizer, because that's a better way, because that's already liquid and it's not all salt, and you get the same benefits. So I would say the neti pot with salt, but not salt, do more of the Miracle 2, and you can do the neti pot cleanse. Okay, now we cover that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the silver, because we had that over there. The silver comes in a little bottle like this. Measure to that amount, so it goes up to there. And what you do is you put that amount, you squeeze it, and it fills that little area there, measuring the amounts that you need. You put that in 4 ounces of water, and you drink it. For anyone that has like flu symptoms, colds, cough, any difficulties where you get home, you got chills and you don't feel good, stomach, anything that's going on, you can address the silver. For allergies, for kids that have different, you know, when they come home from school, this is easily taken. It's got oxygen, and it's got the colloidal silver. So this is available here too, and it's an easy way of taking silver, measuring the right amounts. We have it here in the center. We also have another silver that it comes in a blue bottle, and you take like a teaspoon of it, and you do that you know, twice a day. You do it in the morning and you do it at night. You do it more often depending on how severe the condition is. So silver is really good. It helps the immune system. If you have cough, if you have allergies, if you don't feel well, you end up taking like 1 spoon of that. In this case, you have to mix it in 4 ounces of water. If you were to do that, it assists in stopping a cough, the flu, runny noses, or just coughing spells. Okay, so we covered all that. The Himalayan salt is very good. It's that's the salt that that we carry here in the center. And there is sea salt, and a lot of people that have been used to taking sea salt, the Himalayan salt actually tops that. This has got more minerals and it's ionic, and the minute you cook with this, your food changes. I mean, it makes the food, the dishes, just superb. They taste really good, but they don't sit in your stomach long because the minerals help to work and break all the food down and deliver it to cell. Okay, we're going to continue on, and we're going to talk about the teas. The teas are all in this cabinet here, and you know, when we talk about teas, we end up thinking when we're sick, when we have cough, when we have the flu, when we have like stomach conditions, uneasiness, just not feeling good. The very first thing that we think about is a little tea with a little lemon, a little honey. It will be okay. So the idea is that for some of us, all we know is the brand that you buy at the store. And don't want to say the name, but everybody knows about that brand. And so when we think about tea, that's the brand that we get. There are so many different brands of tea, and when we think of green tea, we only go to the market and we just look at whatever says green tea, we buy it. So we don't really know which kind of tea that is. We have books here that will actually show you what all these teas are about. When you come in the center, we have a book that opens up, and if you are looking at the green teas, the green tea will have these little cups with a closed cover that you can glance at it, and you can look at each tea as to what it looks like. You can open it and you can smell it, and you can smell whether or not you like that particular tea or if it's agreeable before you even buy it. So we have white tea, we have green tea, we have black tea, we have oolong teas, we have pu'er, and we also have herbal medicinal teas. Now, they're all in these different books, and they all work in helping us with the immune. It helps us in oxygenating the system, changing pH. It actually has vitamin C, and that is the reason why we end up, when we think about teas, we end up realizing when we drink it how much better we feel. It actually assists in digesting. It also helps us to feel better. Vitamin C cleanses and fights any germs, bacteria. And some teas are light, some teas are green in color, some teas are more darker in color, and some of them are more, they're heavier, or the body it's more of a full body. Now the white tea is very, very mild. It tints the water just such. The green tea, you can actually, depending on which one you choose, you can have it so that it's light, but it can be dark as well. And these teas, the loose teas, are a little different. They're a little different to the tea bags that you get at the store. Now, why are the premium loose leaf teas superior to teas in commercial tea bags? Most teas are sold in various grades in their original leaf form. After going through the necessary processing steps, the tea leaves are sifted through progressively smaller mesh sieves to be sorted by size. Generally, the best teas are chosen from the larger leaves, and lower grades of teas are chosen continue down in size. The remaining small and broken leaves and leaves with bruises from the processing are then used to make commercial tea bags. So you see, the teas that we have are loose teas. They also have, when you use the tea, where is my container thing? When you use the tea, oh, here it is. When you use the tea, loose tea, what you do is you actually put it in this strainer. And what you do is you then pour hot water in there. You end up putting like a half a teaspoon or so in there. And you put hot water in there and you let it steep for like 2 to 5 minutes. And then what you do is you pour. Now, that will give you a cup. Now, you don't throw this out. You keep it in another cup so it doesn't continue to steep, but you then serve it again, use it again at noon. You can use it again at 3 or 4 o'clock and then in the evening. You actually have whatever you have in the morning, you can have throughout the day. So maybe you and your husband or your children, you know, like your kids can have tea also, and they can drink from the very same one. It'll give you 4 cups from that serving. If you're doing it just for yourself, then know that the very portions that you use in the morning, you can use it throughout the day. It just will be a little lighter as the day progresses. And so the idea with that is know that the loose teas are more organic. They are, there's more servings to them. And so, so the idea is, it says, finely cut leaves lose their aromatic oils more easily than whole leaves due to their increased surface area. They also oxidize more easily for the same reason. These are all the reasons why tea in commercial tea bags are not considered premium teas. Not to say that it's bad, but it's just to say that loose teas are actually better. And you get more for your money. When you get a tea bag, you only use it once from the store. When you have this type of tea, you end up using it more. So you get more for your money. And these teapots are actually used, we do have them here at the center. So, and we've got a whole array of them on the website as well. And this is one of them. Anyway, continue on, and we're going to talk about, let's see, what was I going to get to? Okay, the black tea is actually, you know, all these teas are actually good in changing pH. So the idea is that people do lose weight because they change pH. And so the idea is, like, the oolong teas are considered that way, changing pH. And so consequently, the more you drink tea, they do have caffeine, but it's not caffeine like you have in coffee. It's not as acidic as coffee, and so you can drink it pretty much all day long, and it doesn't affect you the way coffee does. Now, so we have white tea, green tea, black tea, oolong teas, and oolong teas are the lightest of the teas. When you think about it, oolong teas are very mild in taste, and but we have an array of all different kinds, and I would suggest for you to come in and look at our book, check the one that looks and smells better to you, and work with that. You can actually do honey in it, not necessarily because they taste really good, but I wouldn't suggest sugar, but honey is okay, and Manuka honey would be really excellent choice. Now, pu'er, you know, the Asian folks use the pu'er teas because they help digest fat. So let's say that you're consuming this, you know, meal, and if you were to have pu'er tea before you start the meal, you would be amazed how much better you would you know, work that that you won't feel so bloated. Everything gets worked in really well, and it cuts into the fat so that you're not absorbing all that fat from whatever meal. Pu'ers, there's a lot of different ones. Some of them come in a little cake form, and some of them come in more of a loose leaf. Some of them are rolled so that you only take one little leaf and you put it in there, because one leaf has been rolled, and a lot of times there's like 2 or 3 all combined in one. So when you steep it, it opens up and you have more than what you thought. Pu'er teas are very good. They're full body teas, and they're excellent. It's a good choice for anyone that would like to do that instead of coffee, or maybe you want to drink something but you can't do coffee like at the end of the day. Pu'er teas and oolong teas are your excellent choice. There are teas that you start your day. There's other teas that you end up taking midday, afternoon, and also later on in the evening. We do have herbal teas too. Now I do want to say that if once you start to tap in and understanding what teas can do for you, they remedy so many different things. They help in reducing mucus. They help in ridding of biofilm. They help, there are some teas in the medicinal teas that work in reducing or ridding of candida. And so they work on flu, cough, viruses, when you have chills, when you're achy, when you have a sore throat, when you have a stomach ache, digestive discomfort. They work in the immune system. They have vitamin C, and green teas contain 10 times more of the vitamin C than the black tea. For anybody that has sensitive stomach, the oolong teas are the most suitable for them. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, there's a lot of movie stars that do pu'er teas, and Victoria Beckham is one of them, and that's how she has talked about that on her page, that that's what she does in order to stay thin, is she drinks tea every day, and that's the tea that she drinks, the pu'er. Now, the herbal teas that we have is, we got lavender, and lavender is actually used, it helps with sleep, it helps in invigorating, it helps in calming, it helps you in relaxing, and in sort of putting you in a calm state. For anybody that has anxiety, has that's nauseated, that's insomnia, that has headaches, and lavender is good for that. The same way that you think about lavender as being an essential oil, lavender is used the same way, but this you end up, it's herb that you can actually put in your teapot and steep for 2 to 5 minutes and drink it, and that will calm the nerves, and it's good for depression, and helping you to center and calm. Now we have lemon verbena, and that one is also, it is said that it's good for stomach aches, indigestion, to calm the nervous system, and to de-stress. And it's said that it's good for sleeping also. It reduces fevers. It's good for digestion, and it's an anti-spasmodic. And that's the lemon. Lemon is, and we did say that too, that it's good for sleep as well. It's and it's also good in ridding of water retention, the lemon verbena. Peppermint, we have talked about peppermint many times, and peppermint is it's very good in pH. It's very good in oxygenation. It helps you in digestion. It oxygenates the system, so your body starts to work better. It helps in elimination. It works in a lot of disorders. It helps with muscles, diverticulitis. It helps with heartburn, chronic fatigue, mild asthma, thirst. It's a cooling agent. and it's good. It's minty, good pH. I mean, you drink it and it opens up all the pathways. It's if you have an upset stomach, if you're nauseated, it helps and calms the nervous system. It's almost gives you like a sedative effect. So it's very good. And but mainly it actually oxygenates. It actually changes pH in the system. And a lot of times if people aren't feeling very good, it's the same thing as if taking lemon in water. It kills bacteria, so it's the same principle. Chrysanthemum is actually a flower that's used traditionally. The Chinese medicine, they usually use it for respiratory infections, allergies, headaches, red eyes, hypertension. It's used to reduce irritation, inflammation in the lungs, throat. It's an antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It's very calming. It's good for high blood pressure. It's actually used as if you were to use echinacea in the same. It's good for sinus, various colds, and so that one is for a lot of different reasons. But it does thin out the mucus, and also is good for allergies and people that have like itchy eyes and that sort of thing. That's chrysanthemum, and these are all herbal teas, and these we have them in a big glass container in the center of the room. Red rose buds are very high in vitamin C. It's good for circulation. It's good for heart. It's improves one's mood. It's a flowery aroma. It's pale in color, but it can be dark because the longer you steep it, the more you. We also have wild chaga tea, and wild chaga tea, a lot of people know of it. It's in fact. Wild chaga tea, we sell a lot of it in the center because folks that have MS, I had a lady that came in and said that she had H. pylori, and she talked about how she had MS. She said that she started taking chaga tea. A friend of hers gave her some, and she started taking it, and she said in 3 days, she said she had more energy. She felt so great. She said, I can't believe it in 3 days how well I feel. And she came in and she bought some for herself and some for her friend. Wild chaga is used for many conditions. And for anyone that has candida, for anyone that has any inflammatory conditions, flare-ups, for any, like H. pylori, Lyme disease, for any condition that has, diabetics do great with it, because diabetics tend to have, a lot of times because of the insulin that they're taking or the medication, the fact that they're so depleted from the minerals, what happens is they end up with different infections every now and then. And a lot of times the regulating their blood sugar all stems from the fact that they have an infection, but they tend to think that they have to go into the doctor to get what's that, antibiotic. And so they take the antibiotics, but they don't realize that by taking the antibiotics, they actually make the condition that they have present worse, because by the time they get done with the 10 days of the antibiotics, they have actually made the candida stronger. The fungus candida is the one thing that antibiotics can't kill. So what happens is you make that condition stronger. So you go for a month and you get it again, and then you do the cycle again and again. Some people have kidney infection, some people will have bladder infections, some women will have vaginal condition where they have to go in and get a cream to take care of the condition. It all stems from candida. So in ridding of that, wild chaga tea it's an excellent choice. You do that, you make it. It comes in a granular little rocks, and what you do is you cook that tea in boiling water. Rather, you boil the water first, you put a teaspoon of it in there, you lower the heat, and you cook that for 50 minutes. And then after that, it's done, and then you can take that and drink a cup 3 times a day. By doing that, it will help you with anyone that has that they can't stabilize their blood sugar, because they're taking all these they're taking, like if they're diabetic, they're taking the insulin, they're taking glucophage, or they're taking metformin, and they still can't regulate their blood sugar. Guess what? You take the wild chaga tea, and it's amazingly, you end up downsizing the amount of insulin that you're taking. And it's amazing how the people that come in here and they're using it, how whatever condition they have, if they have a sore on their leg, or if they have a sore on their toes, or if on their fingers, or on any area on their skin or in their bodies, actually it takes care of it. It gets rid of it, because chaga is one product that actually, it's a mushroom that actually eats away on the very fungus that is candida. So wild chaga is big, and it's so inexpensive. It's really inexpensive for the work that it does. And so anyway, that is one that we do have in the center. We also have little melon is also another tea that we have for diabetics. We also have pear. The pear, balsam pear is another one that's good for diabetics. We have teas that a diabetic person can actually vary, so that they're always taking some tea that's helping them to balance the blood sugar, so that they don't have to keep upping, because people will start to become insulin resistant if they continue to do the very same thing and not really up on something else. Those teas are really good for that. For people that have edema, there are teas that that we also have that will help you in that way. We also have there is a tea that's a substitute, that if you want to substitute, give up coffee, citron red is one of the teas that we use in order to substitute. It's very the body is very it's really a full body tea, and for anyone that wants to switch on over, that is a good one. People really like that. There's a lot of different teas, and I would venture to tell you to come in and look into the books that we have, so that you can see which of the teas you like by just what you see and what you smell, and then that way there you can try that for a little while and see, and then come in again and try another one. So it would be a good choice to do. We have also mandarin orange pu'er is another tea that is good in ridding of heavy mucus and also biofilm. It's one of the teas that we have folks that come in during the winter time. Some people just have a lot of thickness here, and it's all due from maybe soy milk or maybe just soy products, and they've gotten this heaviness. The mandarin orange pu'er is really good that way. These are teas that we have in the center, and that I would advise anyone to just come in and just try different ones, and you'll find out which one works the best for you. And in just checking different ones, you'll see which one you like the best, and you can kind of stay with that, because a lot of times when you find something that really works, you want to stay with that. We also have a tea. This is called Bohemi. And this is actually a tea that it's a weight loss tea. Very inexpensive as well. Comes in a little canister. And you do a teaspoon of it. And the ingredients in here are very good for anyone that has heart condition, that has edema, that retains water, that has poor circulation, that needs oxygenation. These have, the hawthorn berry is the one herb that is heart. It's one of the herbs that it's considered the best in helping in nourishing the blood and nourishing the heart. And you know, it's funny because there was we had a customer one time, and he ended up buying the hawthorn berry for his mother, and he ended up taking it himself because he would make it for his mother and he would have it, and he started to realize that he started to lose weight. So he came in and he said, you know, I started taking that hawthorn berry tea, and my mom did really great. She had better circulation. She said she felt so wonderful. Her heart was good. Her meds were working great. And you know, a lot of times when you do different things, you tend to reduce, or maybe whatever you're taking works better because you know, you're opening up the channels. But anyway, so the idea was that he was taking it, and for him, he ended up getting better circulation and opening up the channels, and he lost weight. So hawthorn berry is used for many different things. This also has tangerine peel, and tangerine peel helps stomach, it helps drain effect, it helps as a diuretic, and it also has a lot of other herbs here that so when you do it, it has a lot of other things, and that's the reason why it works so great. And the whole idea is in changing pH. Tea again does change pH. The more you drink it, and of course the hawthorn berry works in circulation, works for heart, it works in opening up the channels, getting rid of excessive water, draining the system out, so helping the lymphatic. So this is actually a weight loss tea. Hawthorn berry is one of the very top herbs in it, and tangerine peel. So this is also available here. Okay, now that's on the teas. I'm going to talk a little bit about Limu. Now Limu actually is a, we talked about this in prior shows. Limu is a product, it's ocean. It's an ocean drink. It actually, there isn't another drink that is the same as this one. Most drinks, most juices are all made with some type of fruit, sugar involved, and a lot of antioxidants in it, which is good, vitamin C, which is good. However, this is a little different. Limu has amino acids. It has good pH. It has high minerals, amino acids. It actually, it has the protein. So let's say that somebody doesn't eat fish, and this has the ingredients in it. By taking an ounce of this a day, it actually gives you what you would get if you were to eat fish. It actually stabilizes, it helps your thyroid, it has the right amount of sodium, it has all the minerals, it's ionic. It also has a plant that's called fructosin, and fructosin is actually a plant that it's a free-flowing plant that they end up taking, and it's not rooted in the water, in the ocean floors. They're free flowing, and they sort of feed from whatever. So as the fish eat other fish, whatever's dispersed in the water that plant takes to take it in. And so we end up taking whatever that plant has, which is high in antioxidants, but in a sodium base, which actually feeds our thyroid, our adrenals. It is one of the drinks that it's said that it helps folks that have chronic fatigue, that have MS, that have Parkinson's, the kids that have ADD, if you have sleep disorders, if you have pain issues. Limu is actually, if let's say that you have surgery and they're giving you this medication that constipate you, by taking this, that tends to cancel that. So that means that whatever a medication does in robbing you of the minerals, the Limu tends to cancel that and give it back to you. So it keeps your system going, flowing, so that you're not constipated with the meds that you're taking. The outcome is that you heal quicker through whatever surgery. I've had more folks come in that have had surgeries, that have done the Limu, and they've come back and said, I have healed so quickly. I had one gentleman that ended up saying that he had signed up before the surgery. He had signed up to do this walkathon, and he didn't think he was able to do it. However, he started doing the Limu, and when the time came, he decided, I'm just going to go, I'm going to try to do it, and if I can't finish it, so be it, I'll do the best I can. He went, he finished it, and he said that this was one of the things that he used, and it was one of the things that helped him so much. You know, a lot of times the more and more we subtract the sodium out of our diet, the sicker we get. The more acidic, the more viruses, the more candida growth, the more parasites, the more fungal issues, more and more things surface in the body. The more we stay away from the very things that kill the bacteria of what we have known in the past, the more different conditions are focused or surface in the body. So the idea is that when we input the very things that we already know, it's like someone said, you know, I went to Hawaii, I went in the ocean and I swam, and my skin got so good, I cleansed and I healed and everything, and that is what it is. There is the sodium, the pH, the mineral content in the ocean waters is the same pH that our intracellular is. When we compromise that pH, what happens is we become sick. And so the idea is that we need to come back and input and put back the very things that that our foods have been robbing us from. Any process, you know, I was on the phone today, and I was talking to somebody, and they said, I'm putting some food in, as we're talking, I'm putting some food in the microwave. And I just sort of stood there. I couldn't believe that anybody was using a microwave these days. I venture to say that if you have a microwave, learn about it, throw it away, don't use it. Do not put any single food in your microwave. It is the worst thing that you can possibly use in cooking your food. The one thing that your microwave will do is it will damage, it will destroy any nutrients that you have in that food. It will depolarize, demagnetize. It will alter your food. So if you're thinking, I'm only heating water, you're altering that water. You're altering that drink. When you drink it, the waves have already changed that. And when you take it, it doesn't matter if it's just water. It doesn't matter if it's just heating your coffee, heating your water for tea. It doesn't matter. If you pop your corn in there, also it's bad. Anything that you cook in the microwave, it alters it. It actually causes colon cancer. It kills brain cells. It causes dementia. It actually it works on hormones as well. It does so many different things that if you read about it, actually you can Google it, but if you read about it, you would actually throw that away. When I found out about it, a long time ago. I remember I put tape on it. My kids were still little then. And one of the things, my husband had bought me this huge, big microwave. But it was 2 ovens in one. It was the convectional oven and then the microwave. And I remember I wanted to use the other oven, but I didn't want the microwave oven. So the kids used that, and I figured I had to somehow, so I taped it. But every now and then I would hear the bell, and it was either my husband or they would undo it and use it, or it was my kids. So I decided I didn't want it. I threw it out. Even though it was an expensive microwave, I realized that it was damaging us, so I threw it out. And you know, the thing is that when you take a food that's already been cooked because you bought it because it was pre-made already and it's frozen, and you bring it home, it was already microwaved. Now, because it was cooked that way, now you put it in the microwave the second time. That food is absolutely void of every nutrition. There is no food value in there. It will satisfy your palate, but it will not give you, and it will not feed your cell what you need. In fact, most of the time, every time you eat a microwave food, within 5 to 10 minutes, you're hungry again, and you go back in the kitchen to eat again, and then you go, I just ate, I don't get it. It's because your cells ate nothing. You didn't deliver nothing to your cells. So the idea is your body will always tell you good or bad. You did good or you did bad. So guess what? Throw your microwave away and start cooking on the stove top and just cook the natural way, because that's better for you, and you're not inputting or damaging your food. You're getting, and once you start cooking that way, you're going to see that the little portions that you eat are going to satisfy you, and you're going to get the best out of your food. You will not overeat, and you will not go back to eat again. It's as simple as that. Now, the microwave is a big one. So I'm going to say that Limu is actually is awesome. It's one of the things that if you're sick, if you have any disorder, sleep, hormonal, any surgery, MS, Parkinson's, ADD, diverticulitis, arthritis, sodium is what's needed. In fact, it is the amino acids, it's the protein, it's all the minerals that is in your ocean water, it's the pH being right. By drinking this, and it's just 1 ounce a day, the more and more you drink this, the more you regulate, the more you understand what's going on, the more you drink. It's like most people will start with 1 ounce, and they start to feel so much better. They start to lose weight, and you know what? They drink another ounce in the afternoon because they understand what this is doing. Now, the other product that I wanted to touch base on is also sushi. It's a drink that actually is good for high blood pressure. It's actually good in helping the blood. A lot of times people look really pale. The older we get, we don't move, we don't exercise, we become more sedentary. This actually nourishes the blood. It's good for cholesterol. It's good for, it feeds the full body. It actually, it helps blood pressure. It lowers it. It's good for diabetics. This product here is a drink that you actually, it's like a wine, let's say, but it's made from herbs, and all you do is you take a teaspoon of it and you put it in a little bit of water and you stir it and you drink it, and it's actually good. The minute you start drinking it, it starts to help you with, it helps you to have energy, it helps you in having better color, having better circulation, and it helps blood. It removes stagnation. This is very good. A lot of people that know about herbs and they know what's all in here, they oftentimes come in and they call it by name. This is sushi. drink. I also wanted to talk real quick on the Ninja Red. Ninja Red is actually a drink that we also have in the center. Ninja Red is actually wolfberry, and it is actually a drink that anyone that has macular degeneration, that has any eye condition, Dr. Young's has said the Ninja Red is one of the things that is very helpful. It's very high in antioxidants, and it nourishes the eyes. It's an energy food. It's actually a brain food. It's very good, but it is one of the drinks that vary in the ORAC readings is very high in antioxidants, and that's one of the reasons why they say that it's very good for anyone that has macular degeneration, any eye condition, and dementia, and memory loss. We also have Nopalea. Nopalea is actually another drink that we have, and I'm sure you've seen it on television. It's one of the things, one of the drinks for inflammatory conditions, for anyone that has arthritis, any inflammatory conditions, be it whatever, across the board, from any illnesses, from headaches, from hormonal, from any skin disorder, any fungal, any arthritis, RA, any bed sores, any different conditions that has inflammatory disorders. Nopalea is good. It is a it's from a plant. It's from a cactus plant that's like purple in color. It's very sweet, and anyone that's diabetic, when they drink it, they go, ooh, this is too sweet, I can't have it. But it's not the sugar that's table sugar, so it's okay. You will realize, really in short, that the sweetness that comes from Nopalea assists in the very sugars that are in our joints, that are missing in our digestive system. And so Nopalea, in drinking it every day, will actually rid of any inflammatory disorders. For anyone that would like more information on anything that we've talked about today, you can call us at 651-486-0525, and you can log in to our website at greershealth.com, and go to our Facebook on the left-hand corner of the website, and click on there and like us on Facebook. And thank you.